Alright, so here we are. This is where I've been working hardest in Minecraft. This is Titancraft. And this is my little entrance. Sadly, Mojang has made me sad and not allowed parrots to dance to note blocks. They only dance to jukebox. Mojang, if you see this, please make it so they dance to all music. Because I have a nice little doorbell here. Sadly, it only goes for a short distance, and it's an actual doorbell. What I'm hoping to at some point is underneath this tunnel is to install a full-length note block song, so that by the time you reach the end of the tunnel, the song ends. Unfortunately, that hasn't quite happened yet. It's on my list of things to do. There are several others that I think are a bit more important first before I deal with that. Now, one thing that surprises me about the way Mojang has done things is that, yes, you will hear the sound of me going through this portal. Somehow that's tied to jukebox noises. Not quite sure why, but that's the way of it. So here we are. Nice large structure. I'm sure you can get snowed on. And plenty of cats. These cats are someday going to end up in the nether lining my tunnel. But trying to get cats to the nether is challenging, to say the least. Now as we come up, you can start to see the base of the structure. Unfortunately, it doesn't load in until we're quite a fair bit closer. So as you can see, it's just starting to come in. Over here on our right is the village. Within the lore I've sort of built within my head, this is where we started. Despite the fact I started digging over here and creating an internal basement. So here we have the village. Quite simple to start with, and eventually it moves into a much more developed area. Slightly fancier houses, and then down here at the end we have the first of the houses that is full size. This one, as you can see, has 2 stories rather than one. This one is one of the few that's been nicely decorated. My friend Annie, who's been so wonderful helping light up the interior of my base, has decorated the interior here, which is quite nice. This is going to be a design I continue on the far side of the village. Here I have a little llama carousel. I figured some form of entertainment within the village as part of a park would be desirable. So we've got a series of identical houses, 2 different sections so far, with the third one being just beyond this path. I haven't yet gotten around to it, but I have at least done the basic markings with a series of slabs, and these will all be 2-story units. I figure that even in a democratic society, which is what this is supposed to be, a society that works upon a council system, there would be those who wanted a nice large home, perhaps to start a family. And so as such, this is what I had envisioned here. This has sort of been on the back burner as I've been working on some farms around the base. Now if we come back around, I have, as you can see, got 2 layers of snow around the area where it's not got actual light. This allows me to mob-proof without having torches scattered everywhere. I have a very kind friend named Pendle, who's here on the server. She's done an amazing job helping ensure that all of the houses have enough light, and she's been wonderful. She's been mostly placing snow layers. I've built a special little room for her to be able to dig snow as easily as possible. So as we come back around the path, you'll notice that most of the trees, what I've done to ensure lighting around them and to be able to allow myself to grow grass around the trees, I have placed some end rods in various positions hanging underneath them. I'm thinking about potentially someday coming up with some form of street light, but for now this helps create a certain atmosphere. Now as we come back around towards the portal, I'll show you real quick the stables I've made. Simple, I've got a couple of scaly horses. I figured they were more appropriate due to the cold weather. There is a nice set of stairs here for those who don't want to fly off my base. Comes up to the portal. I know that flying is not always something people want to do, depending on their internet connection, so a nice little staircase. So as we come around, little fire pit. Perfect spot to just sit and enjoy the evening. So as we come to the left, there are 3 greenhouses. While I do have farms within the base with the intention that this is a defensive structure, the farms within the castle I would expect would not be enough. They're enough to hold you over for a couple of months while you're under siege, but instead we have a nice set of greenhouses here for general use. Eventually I will get a farmer in here, but currently, due to the fact that they're in the basement of my pyramid, the chances of me getting one out here without a bubble system are pretty slim. I figure the bubble system will be faster and more efficient than me trying to fight my way through a series of signs and trying to create a lift system that way. So as we come back around, we'll head on up. You'll see that there are a series of arched light systems. That's the only level that's not on a half slab. These are all lower half slabs to ensure that they're mob proof. This is the only one that does not have such a system, so I've had to light it in other ways. And I've gone quite decorative on it. Most of this base is quite decorative. Now if we come up here to the middle layer, you'll see there's an open arch. This is a shortcut into the base, but still very defensive, as you are coming up to a smaller entrance. There's easily enough space for any defender to poke their head around and shoot you off with an arrow, and it has large doors that can be easily barricaded by the time you get here to prevent entrance. So if we come back around, we'll go up to the top and show you the way in from there. So if the attackers, per se, come around, they do have a straight line up, but once they're at the top, they do have some challenges. As you can see, I prefer lots of color, and I do enjoy using glazed terracotta to my great detriment. It's one of the biggest struggles here is being symmetry and trying to get the terracotta into place. This is one of my horses that somehow escaped. I'm not sure how he got up here. Need to find him a saddle and get him home. But here we have a few enemy heads. I figured this was a simple way of decoration. Now as you'll see, you come up to this great big column, and it's not obvious where you go next. You can run around and it can be kind of hard to spot them, but what we have is that if you come back here, a staircase. I figure this is again another good defensive feature. As someone runs past and tries to determine where the staircase is, you can easily defend. So you come down here, this is where the defenders of the structure would gather their armor and run on up to defeat the enemy. If you come down here, this is again another defensive room. It's a library, a very simple library, but it allows forced flow of the enemies who have entered the castle. They have to go either way around, and it's not obvious where the staircase to go to the next level is. For here, it's simply behind this wall. But it's hidden enough to make any attackers question where the entrance is. So as we come on around, I've got my nice little enchantment set up in each of the corners. And then down here we have the dormitory. This is where any of the perhaps lower class workers per se, those who do not wish to start a family, can have a simple home within the dormitories. I do have plans that at some point when I finish this level, because it's incomplete, there will be a simple bathroom here underneath the stairs for those who are on this level. I haven't occupied this castle with any villagers because here on the server we have a limited number of entities, and I've used that with animals and livestock. Another defensive feature of this castle is the fact that you have to come down a narrow walkway here, 3 wide, before opening out here, which means that you can easily be rushed. As you can see in this corner, this is where the incomplete section is. Now as we come down the next level, it starts to open out a little bit more. And here it's large enough that anyone who comes down the staircase that is not meant to be here can be easily picked off. As you can see, it's very much a glass structure on the interior here. This ensures that I have full sunlight access to the village below if I wish to start breeding villagers. At the moment I've got it closed off. I've got enough for what I need. Now as we come down here, this is the dining hall slash great room slash community gathering place. I hope to, once 1.13 comes in, put some food on the tables. Much like I have plans to turn some of the stone brick staircases on the exterior into prismarine. Now this is one of the largest staircases. If I bring up the F3, you'll see that this is the west. East-west has a larger set of staircase, and this is the main sort of staircase down. On the north-south side there is a much smaller staircase, of which only one is complete, because I have plans to modify once I get a update to 1.13. This is where I plan to put the main map. I haven't yet updated it completely, so you can see some of the paths are incomplete. But as you can see, this is the little island where you come in on the portal, our smallish village, and the greenhouses. This whole pyramid is 8 chunks by 8 chunks. So it's not a small structure by any means, but it is one of the smaller ones here on the server. This is one of our farmers who's on his way up and out to the greenhouses. So our storage system is split into 2. Along this wall, you have storage. As you can see, I've created a little jump platform to allow me to get off if I wish to do a quick flight to the other side. But storage is here, and then we have for an eye along both the north and south walls. So I have a fair amount of capacity to burn. As you can see, smaller staircase, much narrower, but it still does the job of getting you down. So if we come down here, we'll see the first of our farms. This was kindly made by a friend named Sir Zikachu. It's a simple cactus farm. I plan in the opposite corner to do a sugarcane farm, and in the 2 remaining corners will be a pumpkin and a melon farm. As of yet, these have not been built. Now if we come over here, you'll see this wonderful staircase is actually our storage system. If I come upstairs first though, I'll show you there's our snowmen. I've set them up so you can go semi-AFK with them, and as you dig, the snow will slowly filter down to the bottom chest, allowing you to gather a fair bit before you have to worry about despawning. So, as we come here, I'll bring you back downstairs and we'll have a look at that storage room. It's not very well decorated at this point, but it's decorated well enough. It's got these wonderful chests of cactus, which are actually quite full at the moment. I really do need to take care of some of that because they are despawning. If I bring back the setup. Now, I have a couple of sort of street lights here. I haven't decided whether I like their fate. I'm still deciding on how I need to light this area. As you can see, my stairs aren't quite 100% safe. That's why they have torches. Something I'm trying to phase out here in the base. As we come down, you'll see there's a wheat farm here. We have wheat farms on 2 sides, and then a carrot and a potato. This ensures that if at any point we're putting under siege, we actually have somewhere we can get food. This is my little bunny. His name's Bunny Mort. And then over here we have a few mushrooms that need to find a new home, unfortunately. This is an empty space because at the moment we don't have the 1.13 update. When that occurs, this will be shifted into an aquarium to keep it safe. As you can see, the corner is dug out. This one will become a chorus farm. And there's another one that's incomplete that will become eventually a fabulous setup for a potions room. I haven't yet done a potions room, so that'll be interesting. But I do have the nether wart here, and on the opposite side, on that corner over the far side, there is a setup for my villagers to come up and be. And the system is currently shut down because I'm waiting for soul sand to create bubbles. So down here we have piggies and trees. The biggest thing is I have a bunch of iron golems around here because I've uncovered a slime chunk or two under here. And I wish to make myself a little safer around here. So this is the bottom of the aquarium. So this will be full of corals and other sea life once I get the update. That update relies on Spigot, unfortunately, so we are not quite sure when that'll happen. Now this little fella, if I bring up the control bar, you'll see that this guy's name, if I can show him, nope, he's gone too far. See, he's got a nice little red name, Indecent Monk. That was a special little gift tag from a friend. So, he's got a special little name as he watches over the villagers. As you can see, there's glass in the center there, between the water. That's where all the doors are. This little piggy in the corner to encourage the villagers to go where they need to go, over in this corner. And when I take those slabs off the glass up on underneath the staircase, they will start breeding again, which will make me quite happy. I need to get a few more farmers to go out to the greenhouses. This is where most of the farmers spend their life, just stuck along the walls. I haven't yet decided on a fate for this area, if I want anything on the walkways. But that's most of it. I've mostly been trying to work on ensuring this place is defensive, because I figure sort of the lore that I have going is that a group of individuals decided they were fed up with a tyrant king in the south and decided to come up to the north. They found the frozen tundra and figured this was a pretty good place for a home. They set up the small village, which I showed you outside, the first section where it was all small houses in a simpler design, and from there they decided to expand. When they thought about it, they decided that they would build a large defensive structure that would ensure the king, if he ever did decide to try and reclaim them as part of their kingdom, would have no success. So this place is highly defensive. If you'll notice down here, that's a solid block of water, all the way down to a soul sand block. This is where, once the setup of 1.13 happens, the villages will appear. At that point, I'll put a bit of glass around here to keep them from roaming freely and using this pressure plate to escape. Over here we have a few bits and pieces that I use to trade with the villagers when they come up. But that's most of it. It's pretty simple, but highly decorated. I do get some people who are lost in this place, but whoops. So if you'll notice over here, this is the corner where I haven't touched it because I have plans for a prismarine staircase on the exterior. But you come out here and there's a path out that goes nicely to my area where I plan on creating a small timber farm. Because what I'm figure is this is a good direction. It comes out towards the forest. And up here there's actually an igloo, which will be the start of my lumber camp. Though that project is quite a fair ways down the line, due to the simple fact I have so much to do on the interior still. So you'll see as we come over here, there's a nice forest. There's spruce and an igloo. I'm not sure who it was, but someone else had found this before me and had cured the villager for me. But suffice to say, I've made it into a sentry post, with the plan that later on that will become a sentry post surrounded by a timber shack. So, that's it for now. I'll be back with you when I know what's happening for the rest of it. I do rather enjoy coming around and seeing the bright colors. It's not quite what you expect, but it's quite enjoyable for me. So, Absinthe Cat signing off.